And for our next song, I welcome everyone to join in singing the next song together on the next slide, which is called Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. And the words should be on the slides. You can stand if you want. So we're starting in a very joyful way today because it's a climate justice revival and it's day 2. For those of you who were here yesterday, we had a fabulous time. We're going to have another song, this performed only by the band, and it's called Hope in Us, right? And so please sit and enjoy that.
That we're lost here with no clear way out. If we work together, we'll swim through the drought. Disasters and fires we can't face alone. Remember that this is our home. When the storms of life drown you out and your faith is low and you're full of doubt, see the children play. There is hope in us. When the winds of change will burn your fears, disasters in your life won't heal. Remember that there is hope in us. You look out and see every person for themselves. They say we're alone on a sick, dying hill, trashing our problems like plastic don't kill. But every living creature calls this place home. Remember that you're not alone. When the storms of life drown you out and your faith is low and you're full of doubt, see the children play, 'cause there is hope in us. When the winds of change will burn your fears, of disaster in your life won't yield. Remember that there is hope in us. plastic don't kill, but every living creature calls this place home. Remember that you're not alone. When the storms of life drown you out and faith is low and you're full of doubt, see the children play. There is hope in us.
When the winds of change burn your
Burn your
fear and the
fear.
pressures in your life home,
We won't
remember
there is hope in us. We won't fall. We won't fall. Keep the faith. We won't fall. We won't fall. Keep the faith. There is hope in us.
That was gorgeous. And I'm comparing it to the professionally done UUA video we saw yesterday. Yay! What are we transcending? Waldo's? A great new band name. Very nice. All right. Good morning. I'm Tracy Watson. My pronouns are she and her, and it is my privilege to be your worship associate for today's service of Emerson Unitarian Universalist Church. Please make sure your cell phones are silenced, and in keeping with our policy for maintaining health and safety, particularly of our most vulnerable, we appreciate you wearing your mask during the service. Welcome to the Climate Justice Revival Worship Service. We are so glad you have entered and rejoiced and come into this place. This morning we are doing things a little differently. We are joining congregations all over the country for a time of renewal and recommitment at the intersection of the climate crisis and the deep justice commitments of our congregation. Today, we can move past systems and cultures of extraction to usher in a new era with love and justice at the center. We protect what we love. So during this morning's worship, we will be remembering our love for earth, air, fire, and water. We will be tapping into our love for people, especially those first and most impacted by climate disruption. We will be celebrating all of creation and recommitting our care and protection. Let's begin with breath and air. I invite you to just notice your breathing, however easy or labored it might be. Give thanks for those gathered with you, and give thanks for air, always present, supporting all life. If you are joining us in worship for the first time, we gladly welcome you to our service and invite you to fill out your information in the online guest book document in the chat or the guest book in the foyer for those of you who are here in the sanctuary, so you may be informed about future opportunities for gathering with the Emerson community during this week, every week, and after services. One of those great gatherings is our annual fall fundraiser, October 19th, Saturday afternoon, for music, food, fun, and a chance to bid on fabulous events, items, and services. Save the date, more to come. And next Saturday, October 5th, is our congregation-wide Emerson Beautification and Cleanup Day. This is going to be led by Barbara Calvi and Carolyn Martin. They're here with us, and I'm sure they'll be happy to hear from you if you'd like to RSVP in person and talk to them about what kinds of fun things you'll get to do and what you might need to bring. It is time to show our beloved building some much-needed love. Please join us starting at 8 in the morning, or as soon as you can get here, to help prepare and beautify our sanctuary, pavilion, foyer, and kitchen. All hands are welcome. There will be light, moderate, and heavier work, and there's something for everyone. And as for today, please join us after this inspiring service from 12 to 1 to share ideas for putting our ideas into action as a follow-up to this climate justice revival. We also have a website that is regularly updated with church information. If those of you on Zoom would like to have a joy or sorrow read aloud later in the service during our embracing meditation, submit it by clicking on the link, which is also posted in the chat. Those of you in the sanctuary may write a joy or sorrow or concern in the Book of Life, which is located behind the piano. Everyone is invited to join us in the pavilion after the service for some treats. We have some leftovers from yesterday, and there is ice cream for Ice Cream Sunday, so it's going to be worth it. Those of you online are invited to join in our virtual coffee hour in Zoom. Before we go further, let us acknowledge that our church is built on land that was forcibly taken from those who have called it home for thousands of years, inhabitants of the villages of Tatonga, Ataksava, that held the cultures and languages for the Tongva, Kizh, Tataviam, and Chumash people. This land remains part of their enduring identity and heritage. We recognize that these tribes are fortunately still here, and we are committed to honoring their stories, culture, and community. Our existence as a spiritual community can only be validated through appreciating the depth of the loss of their land in generations past, and the enduring hope for the renewed vitality of these cultures in years to come. I think that's going to be Andrea. And now, Andrea Reuter.
Okay. My name's Andrea, pronouns she and her. And just one more announcement before I get to the chalice lighting. You'll see some posters throughout the room, which are leftover from yesterday's work. We were working here all day long, many hours. We did a lot of conversation and thinking. And what the posters represent are challenges that we are facing in the world and possible solutions. Also, so you're welcome to look at those during coffee hour. And also on this table, we have a community group picture. It's called a rich picture of what we would like to envision the world to look like in the future. So I left out coloring materials, so in the coffee hour, if you want to keep adding to that picture, even if you weren't here yesterday, you're welcome to add to the picture and continue growing that picture of what the world could look like in our best view of what it could be. All right. Throughout religious history, revivals have marked periods of resurgence in people's commitment to their faith traditions. Classic American tent revivals took people out of the four walls of the church and into the world. They brought the community together and served as a galvanizing force for the future, often during times of great change or anxiety. In the midst of overlapping climate crises and mounting social injustice, we are in a time of great change and profound anxiety. Taking a note from those who have gone before us, the UUA Climate Justice Revival is meant to be a time to come together and recommit. So as we come into worship, we light the chalice with words by Reverend Megan Foley, Deputy Director for Congregational Life at our Unitarian Universalist Association. And she says, quote, when Unitarian, should I light it now? Do I do that? Oh, that would be great, because it's a lot. Okay. When Unitarian Universalists light our chalice, we are doing more than moving a bit of flame from a little stick to our favorite candle. When Unitarian Universalists light our chalices, we are showing what happens when we harness the power of fire. Fire is one of our world's most sacred elements, perhaps because it always causes change. Fire warms and feeds. Fire destroys and eliminates. With a bit of attention and care, fire works with us to reveal, to show, literally to illuminate. Fire helps us to see and to survive. And so fire is an especially sacred symbol today at our climate justice revival, because we are in need of change, and we are in need of warmth and sustenance, and we need to clear a bright new path for ourselves and our world. May this cup of captured fire be a symbol today of our passion, our care, our brilliance in the face of great need. Like fire, we too are powerful. Like fire, we too create change. May it be so. The covenant, sorry. I'm doing the covenant, I forgot that. All right. Join me in saying the covenant, which is there. It's going to be in English and Spanish. Ready? Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, thus do we covenant. La doctrina de esta iglesia es el amor. La búsqueda de la verdad es su sacramento, y el servicio es su oración. Vivir juntos en paz, buscar el conocimiento en libertad, servir a la humanidad en comunión, este es nuestro pacto.
Our story for all ages today is a video, and it comes from the Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt, and she's the president of our Unitarian Universalist Association. We are delighted to have her. She I think started about a year ago, and she's someone I admire greatly. So I hope you all enjoy this video from Sophia.
As we continue the celebration of our revival together, I am so excited to bring you a story by one of my favorite children's authors, Kobi Yamada. The images are by May Bisum. This story is called, What Do You Do with a Problem? I don't know how it happened, but one day I had a problem. I didn't want it. I didn't ask for it. I really didn't like having a problem, but it was here. It was here. Why is it here? What does it want? What do you do with a problem? I thought. I wanted it to go away. I shooed it, I scowled at it, I tried ignoring it, but nothing worked. I started to worry about my problem. What if it swallowed me up? What if my problem sneaks up and gets me? What if it takes away all of my things? I worried a lot. I worried about what would happen. I worried about what could happen. I worried about this, and I worried about that. And the more I worried, the bigger my problem became. I wished it would just disappear. I tried everything I could to hide from it. I even found ways to disguise myself, but it still found me. And the more I avoided my problem, the more I saw it everywhere. I thought about it all the time. I didn't feel good at all. I couldn't take it anymore. This has to stop, I declared. Maybe I was making my problem bigger and scarier than it actually was. After all, my problem hadn't really swallowed me up or attacked me. I realized that I had to face it. So even though I didn't want to, I really didn't want to, even though I was really afraid, I got ready and I tackled my problem. When I got face to face with it, I discovered something. My problem wasn't what I thought it was, and I discovered that it had something beautiful inside. My problem held an opportunity. It was an opportunity for me to learn and grow, to be brave, to do something. It showed me that it was important to look closely because some opportunities only come once. So now I see problems differently. I'm not afraid of them anymore because I know their secret. Every problem has an opportunity for something good. You just have to look for it. And that, my loves, is the end of our story.
If you would join me in our affirmation, it's in your order of service, and it will be up momentarily as Conrad switches our screens. Thank you, Conrad. We are Unitarian Universalists, people of open minds, loving hearts, and welcoming hands. And thank you all for hanging with us this morning. We have a little bit different order of service than normal, and this is from the Climate Revival. And it also means that we get much more hands helping out with service today. So it's awesome. I'm the Reverend Chloe Briedé. I didn't say that earlier. And we had just a great event yesterday. So thank you, everyone, for your help and attendance. It was truly inspiring. I think we had 30 people here, almost 40. So if you include our Zoom folks and everything else, so really inspiring. We open with our hymn, Blue Boat Home, number 1063, and you're invited to rise as you're willing and able.
It's 1064, actually.
Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea. Leaning over the edge I wonder, casting questions into the deep. Drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on. greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is our blue boat home.
So, the climate crisis and human displacement are increasingly interconnected. Not only did climate-related disasters trigger more than half of the new reported displacements in 2022, but nearly 60% of refugees and internally displaced people now live in countries that are among the most vulnerable to climate change, according to the UN Refugee Agency. Also, the UN Refugee Agency states that, quote, as climate change causes more frequent and extreme weather events, more people are being displaced by floods, cyclones, and droughts. The nearly 32 million displacements caused by weather-related hazards in 2022 represents a 41% increase compared to 2008 levels. But besides displacements directly resulting from extreme weather, climate change is what we call a threat multiplier. It magnifies the impact of other factors that can contribute to displacement, such as poverty, loss of livelihoods, and tensions related to dwindling resources, ultimately creating conditions that can lead to conflict and displacement. So I was happy to find out that our Share the Plate offering for this month serves the San Fernando Valley Refugee Children's Center. And as part of our commitment to serve our community, we share half of our offering with this local organization this month. A little bit about them. They work to provide a healing embrace and a dignified welcome to children and their families who have made the perilous journey from the south of the US-Mexico border and identify as indigenous from Meso and South America, historically, culturally, and through their indigenous language, or who speak Spanish. We aim to offer, this is from their center is a hopeful refuge that provides support through a holistic approach with basic needs, opportunities for personal development, enrichment activities, and access to legal and social services, thus easing their children and their families to transition to a new life in the United States. So in order to contribute, you can contribute to the people who are passing the little baskets, or also online on the Breeze mobile app, or at donate.emerson.uuc.org. And the music that we'll be playing during the offering is a video, and it's called We Are Earth. It's a music video.
Every week, members and friends write in our book of life. These are the entries in the book of life from this week. From Barbara Calvi and Brian Nelson. Please keep our niece Sammy in your thoughts. She is 4 months pregnant and found out Friday her little baby girl has spina bifida. She's been referred to Johns Hopkins this week. We are hoping and praying they are eligible for treatment, which would probably be a fetal surgery. Myself, Reverend Chloe, I wrote prayers down for a friend of mine, Brian McCauley, for him, who his mom died a couple days ago. So for Barbara, his mom, who was a advocate for early intervention programs for children with disabilities. And these are the joys and concerns from our online book of life. From Nicole, she has a joy. To honor our son's upcoming birthday, last night he acquired his very first tattoo. It will be the first of many, is my guess, she says. In case you're wondering, it looks amazing. There's also that too, the tattoo. Jim Wallace writes, sorrow for the terrible devastation left behind by Hurricane Helen. Joy for the fact that all of my dozens of family and friends in Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Kentucky all came through with only a few lost trees and lost power, otherwise unscathed. I'm going to ring our bell and we'll have a moment for folks to name out loud those who they're carrying in their heart. Prayers for folks we miss, anyone whose name we want to bring into this space. Brian, Barbara, Diane Berry, Celia, let us take a moment of silence. Thank you. Our prayers for the people and the planet are read by Heather, Andrea, Stephanie, and Philip. They're invited up for this part of the service.
They're up here. Heather, you go first. Please rise in body or spirit for the prayers of the people and planet. Fear stifles imagination and limits our capacity for relationships that embrace our beautiful and abundant humanity. Fear creates cynical cycles of supremacy and extractive relationships with each other and our planet. Reimagining together is how we overcome fear. Reimagining together is how we build new relationships and a new era, putting love at the center.
Today especially, we put love at the center of our work for climate justice. Please join us in the prayers of the people and the planet. Our congregational response is, let us reimagine a new era together. Say that.
Beginning right here in our congregation, we pray for ourselves that we open our hearts to be companions, caring for a hurting world and committing to create a world of flourishing. Your response. With reverence for the great web of life and with humility, we acknowledge our place in it. We commit to protect Earth and all beings from exploitation. So we pray for land, ecosystems, all species, the entire natural world. We pray for justice for local frontline communities who are impacted first, worst, and longest by climate change and who face systemic oppression.
In our reimagining, we gained the capacity to recommit to communities of mutual support, which are the building blocks of an ecosystem of mutual survival. We look towards each other, people of faith, good conscience, and spirit, leaning on one another and trusting in the hope we can create together. We make right the wrongs of the past, not by ignoring them, but by doing the difficult work of dismantling the oppressive systems and behaviors that feed our illusion of separation. May we live in a way that honors our interdependence and acts in accordance with our interconnection with all people and the planet.
May we set down fear. May our courage to face the intersecting systems of harm lead to the strength to create intersecting practices of love and healing so that all may flourish. Reimagining together, we build new relationships. We put love at the center of climate justice work, and we commit. Amen. Right there?
You missed that one, but it's okay. We'll just go on. We got confused. We're good.
All perfect. You want to sit back down.
Time for more music. I'd like to introduce the commissioned anthem that the UUA has sent our way. An anthem, as I'm sure all these bright people here know, is a rousing or uplifting song identified with a particular group or cause. For this special denomination-wide climate justice revival, the planning team commissioned an anthem to celebrate not just today, but to carry forward in years to come, identifying our work for climate justice. The talented musicians Leah Morris and Adam Pod have gifted us with the song entitled Part of It. It calls us to choose survival and make an art of it, poetic ways of stating that we are committed to working for a flourishing world. Because our care for the planet and all its creatures is an existential task, the lyrics reflect a sense of urgency as well as passion, dedication, and joy in the work. The song also calls us to curiosity, humility, creativity, and grace. The work does not fall on one person's shoulders alone. Contributions individuals make are part of the solution. We must ground our solutions in community care with love at the center. Let's reimagine together, and please join us in singing the chorus.
part of it. Now is our moment for revival. We're at the heart of it, and we are only part of it. We are only part of it. We are a part. We are part of it. We're at the heart. We're at the heart of it. We are a part. We are part of it. We're at the heart. We're at the heart of it. We are only part of it. We are only part of it.
Friends, I have this problem when I think about the Earth, our planet, and climate change. I become overwhelmed. I feel a sort of doom. I feel a climate doom. Researchers even call this feeling eco-anxiety, extreme worry about current and future harms to the environment caused by human activity and climate change. I've noticed it in myself and the people around me, a kind of climate depression or hopelessness. And studies confirm this. In a study out of Ecuador, the researchers found that most of the participants named their emotions associated with climate change and the environment as concern, followed by guilt, powerlessness, anger, and confusion. Concern, guilt, powerlessness. Can you all relate to that? Studies with school-age children find the same thing. A survey of 10 to 12-year-olds in the US found that 82% of children expressed strong feelings of fear, sadness, and anger when discussing environmental problems. Eco-anxiety is alive and well for our children, too. And these fears and concerns are legitimate. The news cycle frequently reports on the harm we humans are doing to our planet, from rising temperatures to species extinction, to the increased environmental cost of new AI technologies. It isn't surprising that we're feeling concern, guilt, powerlessness, anger, and confusion. It isn't surprising that we are a people with eco-anxiety. The response to eco-anxiety is sometimes motivation. We're afraid, so we feel pushed to do something about it. But it can also be detachment or distraction, even cynicism or mistrust. How can the world ever get better if things are so bad? The feeling of powerlessness can get so overwhelming that it can be hard to find the motivation to do anything. In her book, Hope Matters, Ellen Kelsey talks about a friend who is a school teacher. The teacher repeatedly showed her middle schoolers pictures of environmental catastrophe and degradation, and she complained to Kelsey that they just weren't getting it. They didn't seem to know climate change is urgent and real. She wanted the kids to be angry and act on the issue, and felt that showing them the problem would motivate them. And for some reason, it wasn't working. Kelsey had another theory. At this point, middle schoolers do know what's going on. Maybe instead, they don't know what to do. The apathy was masking a kind of hopelessness, a powerlessness. All the horrible images may have just pushed them further into their eco-anxiety. Some argue that reporting on all the bad stuff is the only way we will change it. We must know how bad things are because maybe it will help us act faster. And I'm not saying we should ignore the crisis and the devastation that accompanies it. Constant inundation, though, is bad. It doesn't solve our powerlessness or our guilt problems. In fact, an institute that studied climate change and reports on climate journalism found that 80% of the news we hear about climate change is negative. Wow, no wonder we're caught up in those emotions. Most of what we hear is how bad everything is, and it is. Ellen Kelsey and another author, Zahra Biabani, in her recent book, Climate Optimism, argue for another tactic, another frame of mind. Kelsey calls it hope, and Biabani calls it climate optimism. She defines this as a framework based on the idea that we can restore the planet back to health, and in doing so, protect the people that inhabit this earth. One of our most powerful tools against climate change might just be hope. And play along with me for a second here. I found some hopeful stories about the environment published just this week. Listen to them with me and consider how they make you feel. In Cyprus, efforts to protect green turtles have been successful. Green and loggerhead turtle populations have increased by 25%, and the government and military is working hard to protect critical nesting areas. In Iceland, architects are working on a plan to use lava flows to build building foundations, working with resources that already exist in their communities to build housing. And here in California, a bill is moving through the legislature asking producers and retailers to recycle all the fast fashion they are producing, taking our clothes made out of polyester and other plastics and turning them, and instead of them ending up in the landfill, turning them into other things. And there's more. That's just what I choose to name. How did hearing all of that make you feel? I got excited thinking about it, happy even. I could imagine the turtles on the beach in Cyprus, and I wondered how one might build a house using volcanic rock. I could imagine that. Or imagine us throwing away less clothes and turning them into things like insulation for houses. Hope is powerful. It's a powerful motivator. Biabani reminds us that to change something, we have to be able to imagine it. It's a sort of spiritual exercise, I think. Rather than imagining how bad things could get, can we imagine instead how good they might get? Can we imagine solutions rather than failures? Here in Southern California, a colleague of mine described feeling hope when she took a bicycle ride near her home in Del Mar, north of San Diego. She visited the San Elijo Lagoon, a seaside lagoon that over the years has experienced water quality degradation and other signs of unhealth. This project to help the lagoon widened the channel for more water flow and allows San Diego County to be more resilient in the face of climate change. And this project, which did all this, has already seen the resurgence of plant and animal life. For example, the population of eelgrass has increased exponentially, which serves as an important habitat for juvenile fish. The project was expensive in the millions of dollars, and it was one of the largest wetland restorations ever done in California. And this was just down in San Diego recently. I too would feel hope like my colleague bicycling by that project every day. Things are happening. Even where I live in Long Beach, there's a similar, smaller project ongoing on the Colorado Lagoon to improve water flow and habitat space. And I'm not talking about a kind of toxic positivity, which asks you to suppress negative emotions in favor of the positive ones. Instead, I'm talking about a little more balance. I'm talking about an antidote to climate doom, a noticing of the positive things too. Kelsey says this, "To hope is not to wait around until you are feeling optimistic, but to join with others in defiant response to what we are doing to the planet. It's an action that you do rather than a feeling you have. Hope is a verb with its sleeves rolled up," David Orr, a leading environmental thinker, famously said. She calls it a kind of engaged hope, a form of realistic hope in which we discern how to live with intention and integrity, even when we are ill, trusting that somehow our actions will benefit others and make a difference. Hope as an action, hope as defiance, hope as a motivator. In fact, they even show that when we see someone else making a good change for the environment, we are more motivated to try it ourselves. Our friends casually telling us about how they've cut down on eating meat, or choose walking over driving, or how they visited this great new habitat restoration project, actually motivates us more than the doom and the gloom. Perhaps optimism uses a kind of FOMO, or fear of missing out. Folks want to join the movement that's working. They don't want to miss out on the fun. Along with the local projects, climate hope can be found on an international scale. Biabani describes activists all around the world who are doing inspiring work for climate change, including Fahad Rizwan from Biabani's mother country of Pakistan. Rizwan has worked for the last decade to fight climate change and warming in her country, one that is at critical risk. One of the solutions has been planting date trees along the roadsides, simply so folks who are commuting can have a cooler journey to work, along with, of course, improving air quality and lowering temperatures. And we actually talked about something similar as we were doing the climate revival at some of our tables of can you help plant trees next to the transit stops so that it's a cooler journey for people, or make sure that there's more shelters to protect people who want to use transit. So that was one of the ideas and things we talked about during our revival yesterday. Beloveds, there is hope to be found. There are good things happening every day. Use them to remedy your climate despair. Remind yourself that despite the issues, there is still hope. There are still good things happening. Perhaps even look for that hope. There are whole websites and social media feeds working to spread good news. To say defiantly, people are doing great work on this issue and we need to pay attention to them. We can also hope through our actions. We can embrace a kind of practical optimism that imagines a better future and works to make it happen. We can live out hope. Consider showing up to a park cleanup day, or come garden here at Emerson, or join the action hour after service. Don't let the powerlessness and the guilt consume you. Don't let it drive you to inaction or despair. Hope, optimism, action, these are all antidotes to the despair. We must continue to remind ourselves that there is hope to be found, that things are changing, that not all is lost, that the world we dream about is possible. Hope. May it be so. Amen. As a continuation of our participation in the climate justice revival, we're going to now do a ritual for action. Rituals facilitate connection and a sense of community, and they help us promote the values we share. This ritual of action is intended to help us embody what we've been talking, thinking, and singing about. Using water as a symbol of renewal, your hands will be blessed for the work of climate justice. If you are ready to take action, you can come forward for a blessing and a little sprinkle of water on your hands. And I have some helpers for this. Rhonda and Philip are gonna get up and do the sprinkling on your hands, and then I have towels for you to dry off with. And they're gonna bless your hands with these words. Friend, you are commissioned to act for climate justice. I bless your hands with water. May they do the work that must be done, care for those who need the touch of kindness, and create flourishing everywhere. So you're invited to come up and receive a little sprinkle of water blessing from Philip and Rhonda.
still going.
As the amateurs sing.
This is fun. And I agree. I think I share that sentiment. Our closing hymn today is We Will Rise Together, and the lyrics will be up on the screen. You're invited to stand as you're willing and able.
We will rise together, you and I, rise together hand in hand.
Knowing how quickly the flame of truth may be extinguished, how easily the chalice of fellowship broken, let us be vigilant in faith, keep peace in our hearts, and make care for one another the watchword of our lives together. So our light goes out everywhere in the world. Our light goes out everywhere healing and hope are needed. Let us go in peace to love and serve this world and one another. May it be so. Amen. Blessed be.
I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah. So it's you know, a lot of pain now. So it is what it is. Right. I think about you all the time. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. We needed more drums. Sorry to change everything. No, I didn't realize that's great. I thought it felt more like that. It's a fantastic suggestion. Yeah, I was. Thank you. I was. Originally, I was like, and I didn't do that. It was kind of half. I was kind of. I had to say exactly what I was. That don't you think was exactly what was why. That was what specifically wrote down. That's what you did. Oh, the person wrote it down. Yeah, the writer wrote it down. Oh, I didn't even ever couldn't see that. I couldn't see the whole score. This whole thing. That's the way the score is. He actually wrote out. Oh my God! Yeah, I never saw that. So that's what. So like I could never. It's like so cheesy. And it's like trying to change that. But I was trying to make it sound gospel. It didn't work. It is. It's like a melody. It is. And then we have the guitar and the bass. Anyway, I thought it sounded okay. I thought it sounded pretty good. You could just change on a breath. That's right. Yeah. As soon as you start doing this little thing, I'm like, okay, I think I can work with this now. So it worked out really. So it was a good suggestion. So I appreciate it. Oh, sorry. How are you? Good. I know it's true. I saw you yesterday, but you peeled out of here. Oh, that's true. I know it's true. Yeah. I wanted to say thank you very much. Wonderful. Oh, thank you. I appreciate everything you did. Oh, thank you. You're welcome. Yes, it's fun. You work on the fly. All right. He's amazing. 5 seconds. He's got it. Thanks. I'm going to try and get Shara